Welcome to data visualization lecture. In this lecture, I'm going to demonstrate three different ways to visualize your data. We can use Panda directly to visualize your data. We can use Matplotlib library or package, as well we can use Seaborn package. Okay. So here in this example, I'm going to start with the Panda Direct, how to directly visualize your data from the data set that you have. Okay, I'm going to read this data set. As we see here, we have a data set for some from a university. We have the rank and discipline, PhD, service, gender, and salary. Okay. And in the rank vector, we will use the same vector or the same, I'm going to use vector or variable to refer to the column name here. So the rank vector refer to this column A, where I have professor, associate professor, assistant professor, and so on. Then I have another vector or variable, discipline. I have PhD. The refers to how many years since each of these members as a professor or whatever, okay, awarded PhD, 56 years, 12 years, and so on. Services or service, how many years each of these members are in service, okay, and then sex or gender, male and female, okay, and then salary vector, okay. So simply I use, as we learned before, to import Panda package, and then I read the salaries CSV file. So now I can simply use or define a vector or a variable where I can just take each and split each column from my data set. So I have rank, I read the rank from the data set, assign it to rank vector or variable, discipline, okay, and then PhD, service, sex, and salary, okay. Then if you just display the first few records, as we already learned before, you will see a sample or the first records in your data set. Okay, now how to plot your data? We can use the data set name, which we read it here, data set, okay, and then you can put all your columns that you have and then dot plot. But this is a general way to plotting data, but as we see here, not all data are represented, because we have numerical and we have numerical data and we have character data, and also the data set units are different. If you look here, that we see salary, because the salary numerical values is very high, as we see here, 186,960. So service also displayed here, but because the service values and PhD values are very low comparing to salary, so we can't actually see the result here. So you can see that only salary dominant, and the other factors, if you look to rank and discipline, as we see, that is not displayed because it's not numerical values, okay. So in this case, this is not logic way, but just a roughly way to just, if you have the same data type and the unit are the same for your data, numerical data, then you can use this method, okay. Okay, now what so I'm going to select the variables or vectors that have the same data unit. If you look to PhD here, it's per years, and service also per years, okay. So I can work with PhD, how many years each member awarded since he or she awarded his PhD, and how many years in service, okay. Both of them same unit. So here I'm using data set. I want to read only these two columns, okay, and then I want to plot this data set, okay. Give it a try, and as we see here, we can find there is a correlation between years of PhD awarded since a member awarded PhD, and the service except after 55, okay, after 65, we can say after 65 somehow there is a gap between service and PhD, which means that some members left the service after 65 years, okay, which is logic also. We can also group our data before plotting it, and in this example I'm going to group our data set by service and then assign it to create a new data set called the data set 1, and then for this data set 1 I'm going to sort it their salary in an descending order, ascending equal false here. Then just here I would like to have a look to the first 5 records as we see here in this example. Now I'm going to plot this new data set, okay, their salary for the first 20 records, okay, in bar chart as we see here, okay. You can change the number of records which you would like to display or plot, or even you can remove this head to plot or your data set 1 their salary. So we can give it a try here as we see, and we will see later how it's possible to change the values here or the labels here in the x-axis. Also we can change give a label for the x and y, or even add the legend here, okay. So simple like this. Now for bar plotting we can combine more than one vector or one variable at the same time. Here in the original data set, okay, I'm going to plot it using bar plot for PhD and service, and as I said before that we have to plot the variables that have the same data unit. We have to be careful about this, okay. So here PhD and service for the first 10 records, okay, I want to plot it using bar chart, okay, here. So try to change this one to salary, okay, to say salary, okay. As we see here that PhD entirely disappeared because the data units are different, okay. So here I move it back to service, okay, and as we see here there is a correlation somehow between the service and PhD, years of service and years of PhD, okay. Now if we would like to add a title, we can use the same script as the previous example, and then only we can add title here and we can write down the title. Then for any new line you can use /n and whatever the values that you'd like to add to your title. As well we can control the colors, so we can add another attribute here as we see here for the color, green and red, or even you can write green the whole word here and the word green and the word red, okay, and run it. Both of them are okay, so you can use only the letter or even to refer to the color that you want, okay. Now for pie chart, okay, for pie chart I'm going to implement or visualize salary in pie chart, okay, for the first 10 records. And again here we have to select the chart type by, and auto-picked here refer to the format for the values written here in each slice, okay. So here I want to two digits after the decimal points, so here 8.39, 16.86 and so on. So later we will see in the matplot how to make more, add labels and legend and this stuff, as well how to rotate this pie chart here for our data set, so it can you can plot it in a very attractive and better way to give the picture of your data that you would like to show to the readers. Okay. Now box plot, again, if you I want to represent data in box plot graph, so I can see the max values, minimum values, the median, and quantiles, the 20, 50 quantile, 50 quantiles, and 75 quantiles, and outliers as well. Okay, so it's the summary representation. In matplot, we have a very attractive way to visualize this. We will see it later, but here we can use data set. Then if we use different data units, as we see here, PhD disappeared entirely and the salary only visualized. Okay, so here I'm going to use the same data units, yes, for PhD and service. All of them are in years, so we can plot data set for PhD and service for the first records, 10 records, okay, and plot it in box plot. Okay, so we can see here somehow for PhD the median value is around 22, as well service around 20. Okay, we have some outliers here, and we can see that the range for PhD is higher than the range for service. Okay, very easy and simple way to represent our data and visualize our data. Okay, for the histogram, again, data set, I want to visualize or plot salary, the 20 records in the salary vector in a histogram graph. Okay, and a scatter plot, we can use data set again, kind is scattered. Okay, so simple like this. Then we have to give the x-axis here PhD, okay, and the y-axis here service. I want to compare between PhD and service to try to see the correlation between both of them. And here I added the title attribute, and then the size refer to the size of these stars, or these which we have here in this graph. Okay, so if I put it 10, for example, okay, we can see that we increase the size here, and we can find that there is a linear correlation, we can say, between PhD, years of PhD and years of in service. Okay, so if I want to make it, say, 0.9 here, it depends on your data set. If it's large, okay, so you can use different size. I hope that you enjoyed these methods of data plotting and visualizing. In the next video, I'm going to use the matplot package to see how it's possible to create an attractive graph, compare between the data in a visual way, using the different vectors from our data set. Thank you.